Hey there, everybody. It's Pete Chida with the Meadville Tribune, and welcome to the newest episode of Sideline Confidential. I'm done counting these things because I can't remember week to week what number we're at. Is it 9?
9.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Recording on October 29th.
October the 29th. It's Tuesday. We just got done putting the paper away, and we're recording this to talk about the rest of the week and what's passed since last we talked. I am joined again this week by Jordan Hansgen, whose birthday is today. Is that right, Jordan?
Yes, it is.
We found out via Twitter. Happy birthday to you. You get one line. You get another line after another year of employment. Matt, is it your birthday today?
No.
Okay, that's Matt DiGiacomo.
Not the big 5-0 yet. Got a little bit wild for that.
All right. Really?
Yep.
Oh, man.
May 31st, the big 5-0.
Really?
Yeah.
We're 2 days apart and a few years apart. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys, and let's get to it. Where are we? Oh, yeah, you went to the Bills game, and you didn't do your 112 there, Jordan. They had a rough day against the Eagles.
Oh, well, I don't think we were the problem.
No.
But, their run defense got exposed. The run defense actually got exposed the week before against Miami. But Philly's a different animal, and when their run offense got going, it was pretty much unstoppable. And the weather didn't do the Bills any favors. Allen is not a super accurate thrower, and you add some elements to that, and he gets a little bit wild. And it was just not a very good performance by them. Pretty humbling performance. Hopefully they get better for it. I mean, sometimes you need a little bit of a loss, something to get you going, something to get you, up for the next game. And the Eagle, I guess it's good that it happened against the NFC team because it's not really going to hurt in terms of tiebreakers and stuff. But yeah, pretty depressing display, to be honest.
Well, you should have known going into that. I mean, if your run defense gets exposed the week before by a team that has no offensive line and no running backs, someone's probably going to pick that up.
No, yeah, I mean, it really turned the perception from the fans that the Bills' defense they held New England to 16. It's like, oh, the Bills' defense might be one of the best in the league. Bills' defense still has some stuff to work out. They are not a flawless group. They're a good pass defense. Their run defense, though, if we surrender a big lead, they're in trouble. If they're down 2 scores, I don't like their odds.
Well, I'm a Dolphins fan. If my team's up 2 scores, I don't like their odds, as the Steelers proved.
Yeah, they were up 14-0. I thought you had something to celebrate Monday night.
Well, it's kind of funny. I came in from the ice. I was at the Meadville hockey game, and I saw it was 14-0. I was like, oh, look at that. And then Steelers kicked the field goal. My favorite Dolphin, who's now a Pittsburgh Steeler, Minka Fitzpatrick, then intercepted a ball, and he went from there. He had 2 picks.
You guys got the new Fitzpatrick, the star.
No.
Little magic
We gave away the star.
Man.
We got the guy who threw 2 interceptions to lose the game.
Speaking of turnovers, the Browns looked hideous against New England. I mean, it ended up being closer than I thought it would be, considering the start that they got off to. Boy, was that
horrible.
That was pathetic. That was old school Browns football right there.
I mean, I turned around and looked to see the Browns had the ball. I turned around, did something. I looked back, the Patriots had it. So I turned around, the Patriots scored, and I turned around after the kickoff, and the Patriots had the ball again. Like, what happened?
He shoveled past that ball, right? That guy's arm.
It was also just one of those games where it just seemed like, things just, even when they have their big play.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb runs it for 60 yards, fumbles. And then the Browns throw a deep pass. The refs call offensive pass interference that shouldn't have even been called. So my brother made a funny point on that. We were watching the Browns game, rooting for the Browns.
Well, speaking of the Chubb fumble, I loved how Chubb fumbled it. 50 people jumped on the ball, and the official who was 50 yards away comes running in and is immediately giving it to the Patriots. And can you pull some people off and actually see who has the ball first? Kind of makes you wonder who the referees are voting for in that one. But it was the right call in the end, but you got to make sure you can prove it first.
But that's just like the most frustrating games are when your team's obviously like behind the 8 ball. They're playing against a team that's really, really good, and then they finally get their good play, finally get something momentum, and it's just taken away because of some little thing, and it's just those are the worst.
But coincidentally after the shovel pass interception, I actually thought the Browns outplayed them the rest of the game.
They helped. They made their plays. It just
couldn't get in the end.
Wrong.
Couldn't score points.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. It's hard to watch those penalties. It does seem like that they're
No, they're shooting themselves. They're
Yeah.
shooting themselves. They're beating themselves way more than other teams are beating them right now. And
Yeah, Kitchen's got to just kick him in the rear or something because that's.
There is another play that seemed like very frustrating. Like Beckham drops like a really clear pass, and then Mayfield misses him the next drive, and he throws like a temper tantrum. He's like mad that Mayfield missed him, and it's like, well, if you drop the one, it like cancels out. You don't really have that right to be like, oh, why didn't you hit me on this pass?
That's something I've noticed with him all year. And I know some of the balls haven't been right on target. He's had a few that he's had to reach behind them, but I've seen him get his both hands on balls, this year many times, and that ball has hit the ground. Now, how do you reach out and make a one-handed catch with two fingers and a thumb, but you get 10 fingers on the ball and you can't catch it? I mean,
yeah,
he is not helping either because there's a couple weeks ago he dropped I think 3 that were in his hands and they ended up losing that game. Last week he dropped not last week, they were off, right?
Yeah.
And then the week before that he dropped 2 more, and then not yesterday. I don't know what his issue is. I don't know if he's mad that he can't wear his watch or what, but.
The good news is that the Browns aren't the only team that have been subjected to that. I mean, the Patriots have done that to every single team they've played. So
yeah, in fact, I think I saw quarterback ratings for the teams that played the Patriots, and Baker Mayfield was it was low, but it was one of the best.
Better than most of the other guys. Yeah, and Belichick's record against first or second year players is almost undefeated. It's something ridiculous. He just
that's what the Patriots
confuses the daylight.
His record against first or second year players when he was coaching the Browns was not very good at all. But people forget that part of his career.
Let's see. So that's NFL. There's be more on Sunday. Let's see. Right now the World Series is going on. Last we checked, it was the 8th inning, and Astros are leading 5-2.
2, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like
Nationals, right?
Nationals are leading 5-2. Oh, sorry, Nationals are leading 5-2. Yeah. Oh, jeez. So that series, Astros are leading 3-2 at the moment. So we'll see if it goes to a Game 7, and it looks like it might, unless the Astros pull something out in the last inning, which I guess very well could happen. It is baseball after all. Let's see what else sports. Oh, high school football. Let's go there. Last week. What did we see here? We saw 2 area teams. Their season came to an end. Union City, they ended up losing to West Middlesex.
Yeah,
that was what was the score on that? 28-6, West Middlesex. That kind of looked like it was heading that way. West Middlesex has a very good defense, and and they proved it once again on that one. You were at that game.
Yeah, Union City was even more shorthanded than I think we thought they would be. They ended up it was just really the Caleb Stoll and Marshall Van Tassel show, and they did all they could.
Yeah.
And the line did all they could. It was just, when you're a small roster and you get a few key injuries, it's just way harder for you to build that up. And I thought their defense played pretty hard, holding West Middlesex to 28 in that game. It was a good effort. It just wasn't in the cards this year for them, looking for that first playoff win in school history.
But
Is it 0-8 now?
But it's something to build on. They were closer to West Middlesex than they were last year, and you can definitely see considering
they had
everything.
Last year, and the year that they had last
year,
a great season. Back and they put together a nice season. And then you also were at the Lakeview game, weren't you?
Lakeview, yeah. I did the kind of the football trifecta there.
Oh yeah.
But that was Lakeview. They wanted that game to play. I know their record, it is what it is, and they may or may not be in the playoffs. That's a debate for another time. But they gave it their all, and Coach Hickman wanted it for program building. He wanted them to get a taste of what it's like to play in the playoffs, play in that environment. It was a downpour.
Yeah,
and he was very proud of his team's performance. I know the score won't reflect it, 33-0
against Northwestern.
But he was pretty proud of his guys, the way they kept fighting the whole time. In the second half, it was pretty close. There wasn't really much going on in the second half. 6-0 the second half. The score line was. So program building, I guess. I mean, that's what they're going for. After a 1-win season, there's not probably too many positives that you can look at it from a football team. But they're very young. They have a big line. They'll probably be back and probably even better next year.
That was the 2A semifinal. And earlier that day, you were also at the Meadville game. They took care of business.
And that's a team, yeah. And Meadville started off slow in that game. Warren jumped out to a 7-0 lead after Meadville gave up a big pass, or 6-0 lead. But after that, it was all Bulldogs. Hayden Parks really got the team going with plays from the backfield through the air, as well as some big runs. And from there, once that machine gets rolling, all 4 guys get involved in the backfield and everything. Their defense is making plays. 53-6 was the final there.
Yeah, they ended up putting it on them after falling behind 7-0. They just wait. What did you say?
Oh no, 53-6 was the first one. 49-7 was the second one.
Yeah.
So ended up being about the same. Meadville showed their class, and they set up their date with that rematch with Oil City.
Yeah, let's go over what's going to happen this week in Class 1A. The semifinals are going to be Friday night. Maplewood versus Eisenhower in one semifinal. Farrell versus West Middlesex in the other. I'm sorry, that's wrong. Maplewood's going to be playing Reynolds in the semifinals. Reynolds beat Eisenhower 43-7. We have that incorrect there, and that we're going to have to fix that. How did we do that? Anyway, Class 2A, there's only one semifinal. Wilmington got a bye straight to the championship game, but the semifinal on Saturday is going to be Northwestern versus Greenville. Northwestern, of course, moved on with a 33-0 win over Lakeview.
That, by the way, is a rant for another day.
What's that? Oh, about Wilmington?
The District 10's inability to reseed a tournament so that a team sits there and watches another team watches 2 weeks of football, quarterfinals and semifinals, and they sit in the championship game waiting. There is no reason
if they reseeded it,
they shouldn't have reseeded that, and it should have been 2 semifinal games and a championship game.
I've heard the chairman, the District 10 chairman Pete Icino, talk about this recently, and he mentions about how reseeding it would put them in the position to have to go into a room and decide somewhat arbitrarily that this team should face, if they have to reseed, that this team should face this team and this team should face this team. I'm sure there are some maybe power rankings or some sort of point system that they could use to figure that out. It wouldn't be arbitrary. But what they do without reseeding is they're like, okay, nothing's arbitrary. These are going to be the seeds. And if they don't play, they don't play, and we're just going to have to go with this way. But it's not the guys in the back room making the decisions. And that's because that's the way it had been, and a lot of people complained about that. They didn't understand some of the decisions that were made. So they said, okay, well then we're just going to take decision-making out of it. This is going to be the bracket. It doesn't change no matter what happens as far as opt-out goes.
See, but I think people are getting... To me, that flies when they were making the decision on who was in the playoffs. Now everybody's in.
Yeah.
Unless they opt out. They're not saying...
And that's also a response to people complaining because there were certain people that got left out over because of, region representation, because they might have had a winning record, but it wasn't good enough to get into the bracket and stuff like this. So they responded to that as well. Okay, everybody's in.
Right. And I get that, and I don't have a problem with that. But in that situation there, we only have 4 teams.
Yeah. But again,
you should have a 4-man bracket, or at least have one set up so that if this many teams opt out, here's our 4-man bracket.
It's interesting to think about it, like who gains the advantage from it. Is Wilmington getting a big advantage by sitting out for a couple weeks, or does the hot team get going? I think that Wilmington doesn't need many more advantages.
Northwestern wins this next week. Now they've won 2 in a row in the playoffs, and Wilmington's been sitting around twiddling their thumbs.
Right. I don't know that it's going to affect Wilmington as much as it might some other teams. I think Wilmington's Wilmington, but for some other team that that is going to be stagnant for 2 weeks, I could imagine that it's going to have a detrimental effect on them. But it's just funny. It's just funny to see that D10 gives people what they want, sort of. you know, and people are starting to realize that, you know, we didn't want this after all. You know what I mean? Maybe it should be the guys in the room making these decisions. Maybe there should be a cutoff for playoffs, and not everybody's going to be happy.
Right.
But anyway, 3A, Class 3A, that's going to be
normal bracket there. Everybody's playing.
That's starting. Yeah, quarterfinals on Saturday. It's Harbor Creek versus Slippery Rock, Sharon versus Girard, Hickory versus Northeast, Mercyhurst Prep versus Grove City. Harbor Creek, they ended the season undefeated. They're going to be tough, I think, out of the north. Sharon and Hickory's playing a lot better this year. That's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of Mercer County teams at the end of it all, as there always is. Northeast, Mercyhurst Prep. I've seen both teams play, Mercyhurst Prep, Grove City. I've seen both of those teams play. I think Grove City's going to have the edge on that one. And then the semifinals will be the following Saturday. Championship game not until the 16th. Class 4A, that game is that's going to be Friday night. That's the 4A championship. That's going to be Cathedral Prep. 2-time state champion Cathedral Prep? Is it, or 3?
3.
Yeah, 3-time. They're going to go up against Fort LaBeouf. That's going to be at the Vet at 7 p.m. for the 4A title. Class 5A semifinals is going to be Oil City versus Meadville. Big rematch
That's
there.
the championship, right?
That's the championship.
Yes.
Excuse me. Friday night. That's at, where is that? Fort LaBeouf?
Franklin.
Franklin. Oh, geez, it's kind of dark there. It's Franklin, 7 o'clock Friday night. Oil City versus Meadville. Oil City advanced with a 42-7 win over General McLean this past Saturday. Meadville advanced, as we said, with a 49-7 win over Warren. Oil City won that game, 33-32 last time? It was a 1-point game.
1-point game. Oil City won on a 2-point conversion where they did their power pitch to Noah Petro, the patented power pitch that they love to do. Same play that they ran with Christian Cole all last year, and they just, they found Noah Petro filled right in, and they have that power run game. It was a great game the last time they played, and it should be another fantastic one.
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet it's going to be a good one. I bet both teams are really stoked to be playing this one again, or the opposite of stoked. I don't know, because it should be a nice slobber.
I know Meadville is. I wonder if Oil City was hoping for a little bit of an upset left.
Yeah, I imagine so. And then the 6A championship game, that's going to be tomorrow night. That was postponed. Apparently there was a gas leak at McDowell, and kids couldn't get into their locker room. The school was shut down for a couple days or something like that, so they had to postpone the game that was supposed to be played on Friday, and it got moved to tomorrow night. That's going to be at the Vet tomorrow night, 7 p.m., McDowell versus Erie. So that'll be for the 6A title. Let's see, other high school sports.
Cross country?
Yes, cross country. The District 10 championships was Saturday, and it stayed somewhat dry, which is unusual for that. And I was there for that. It was a barn burner for Class A title. Cochranton ended up winning at 69 points, I think. Where's my Sunday edition? Here it is. Yeah. Cochranton won their third straight District 10 title, 69 points. We'll get to the second place thing in a minute here, but kudos to Cochranton. I mean, this is a team, they graduated 3 of their top 5 from last year, and when they won 2, after they won 2 straight, and everybody's thinking, well, there goes Cochranton. That was a nice run for them, and now it's time for somebody else to step up. Cochranton was like, no, I don't think so. We'll take this one too. And they did. They won the Class A boys District 10 title for the third year in a row, Noah Bernarding very nearly caught Reynolds Troy Hart at the finish line. Hart held him off just barely. It was quite a finish. He's coming to Troy Hart from Reynolds is coming down the final stretch, and he's kind of all alone. And then you see Bernarding coming out of the distance, just closing fast, and Hart's looking behind him and running, and Hart had to give a little kick at the end there just to keep Bernarding in second. But that was quite a race. And then Cambridge Springs was initially given second place with 74 points. West Middlesex had 75. The district later looked at the tape from that and saw that Cambridge Springs' fifth runner was actually a place back. He initially said that he finished in 26th. It was actually 27th. But look, I don't know how they screw that up. They got chip timing. They have the camera there, but they kind of, it was another one of those cases where the Cambridge kid came from behind and he got past him at some point, but it must have been just past the finish line, and I don't know how it got read, but anyway, Cambridge initially got second place with 74 points, but after further review, they lost a point because of the finish there. He was actually behind a kid from Lakeview. So it ended up in a tie. West Middlesex 75 points, Cambridge Springs 75 points. West Middlesex would get the tiebreaker because they had a higher finisher at a certain place. I'm not sure if it was second or sixth. Sixth place. And so West Middlesex should technically be the team to go to states, because the champion and the runner-up gets to go to states. But which I thought was really cool was that the District 10 worked it out with PIAA that both teams would be able to go. Both Cambridge Springs and West Middlesex would be able to go, which was nice because Cambridge Springs thought they had it for like 2 days. They thought they were preparing to go to states, and if they would have had to turn around and say, well, actually, no, you're not going, that would have been kind of heartbreaking, kind of bad for everybody. So it was really cool of the way they kind of handled it humanely, I felt. So they're going Cambridge Springs, and so Cambridge Springs has a chance to kind of prove themselves on the state level as well. Let's see. That was Class 1A boys. Class 1A girls, Wilmington won 72 points. Lakeview was second. They qualified for states for the fourth year in a row, which is pretty awesome for a small school, considering all the turnover that a school like that has. To be able to maintain that level of speed year after year after year is really something else. So they're going. Class 2A girls was won by Harbor Creek with General McLean second. Mira Shannon, great race for her. Conneaut area's Mira Shannon. She was third last year behind Sharon's Gianna Labiento and Fairview's Madison Hayes. This time around, she got in front of Hayes. It was going to be tough catching Labiento. That girl's a rocket. She finished in 18:33, but Shannon managed to overtake Hayes. She said it was the first time in her career beating the Fairview junior, so that was pretty exciting for her. So Mira took second, and she's going to states for the third year in her career. Class 2A boys, Grove City was dominant, 56 points. Northeast was second with 102 points. Pat Stevens, Meadville took second place. He was also against a juggernaut, Dylan Throop of General McLean, this junior. He ran the district course in 15:48, which is lightning fast. That was the fastest of every runner that was on the course that day by far. He was almost a... Let's see. He was almost a minute faster than Troy Hart of Reynolds, who won the 2A race. So that tells you how fast he was. And then Pat was right behind him, 16:24, but an excellent time, in any other race. And he's going to his third state tournament or state meet this coming weekend. Matt Polio, another Meadville runner, sophomore. He missed districts last year with an injury. He was back this year. He had a terrific race. Ended up 16:43. He's making his first trip to states this year. Other state qualifiers. Freshman from Sagertown, Sam Hetrick, took third place in 1A. A great start to his career. Paige Fuller from Sagertown, she took seventh in girls 1A. And Elizabeth Klein from Cambridge Springs, fifth place in 1A. So two girls from Pencrest going as individuals. So it's going to be a nice full Crawford County group going to states, which is Saturday at the Parkview Cross Country course in Hershey. I need to stop talking. Somebody else. What other sports do we have here? Someone help me out here.
Matt, do you want to do hockey?
Yeah, we could do hockey. I'm sure Jamie was probably hoping I would forgot about that one.
Yeah.
They played West Allegheny on Monday, and West Allegheny was just a better team. They were bigger, they were faster, they were stronger. They came out in the first 5 minutes, scored 3 goals, was up 3-0. Jamie made a goalie change. And he brings in freshman Sam Coppola. And he looked like he did a great job kind of changing the momentum a little bit. He held the Indians scoreless the rest of that first period, and then Meadville got a goal from Michael Mahoney, and then not long after that they got a penalty, and you think, all right, they get another one here, maybe the momentum changes and all that. No, West Allegheny shut it down, came back out in the second period and scored 3 goals in like the first 5 minutes again. Now they're down 6-1, and it was just one out of hand from there.
So they're up a class this year.
They're class 2A this year.
So has there been definitely a learning curve maybe with their opponents or just
but they played West Allegheny was 1A last year. And this is the goalie in net is the same kid that beat him twice last year. The kid is huge. I mean, when he's standing straight up in front of the net, the bar was about midway in his back, the crossbar. So when he's down on his knees, he's still got his shoulders at the top of the crossbar. That takes away a lot of spots to try and score. They had a couple other big kids. Their leading scorer is a defenseman. I mean, wow. And in that game, he had a goal and I think 3 assists. They have a lot of really good players, and they've been beat already this year by Baldwin, who's in their same division.
West Allegheny has.
Yeah. So I mean, I was looking at Talent Peak the other day. I was looking at the standings and looking at the teams in there. You got West Allegheny, you got Baldwin. I think Mars is pretty decent.
Montour you mentioned as well, didn't you?
Montour, then Greater Latrobe, and there's another one down that way. They're all really good. And so these are, I think 3 of the teams are all 1A teams from last year who moved up with Meadville. And they're going to have their hands full if they want to make the playoffs. They only take the top 2. There's 4 divisions in AA, and they only take the top 2 out of each division, 4 teams in each division. So they're still good. The team, Quaker Valley, they've split with. The only team they haven't played yet over there in their own division is Mars, and they've already beaten Moon. So if they can sweep Mars and sweep Moon, and hopefully one of those teams beats Quaker Valley, and then from there, everyone they lose to in the other divisions, everyone else lose to in their division, they should still finish in the top 2. But Jamie said they're going to have to get a heck of a lot better than they played on Monday night, and he wasn't kidding.
Yeah, they've shown the ability to improve as they showed in the Quaker Valley series so far. I just saw a final 7-2 Washington.
7-2 Washington.
Yeah, so Washington. So that's going to a Game 7 for the World Series. So that's going to be fun whenever that happens.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Yeah. So that's that. Where else we at?
You guys want to transition over to soccer. 2 OT thrillers.
Yeah, that's right. Yesterday was
one sad, one
not.
Joyous,
well, for
the
Meadville,
local
it was,
teams,
it was pretty tough for Hickory. But that was a heck of a match. Meadville taking on Hickory last night at Franklin. Scoreless first half. It seemed like Hickory was doing most of the threatening in the first half. Meadville made some nice plays on defense to keep it, to make sure that Hickory wasn't squaring it, but any good shots or anything like that. Most of the second half was scoreless but you could see Meadville was getting more people up front. They were having better opportunities. They were threatening Hickory's goal. Finally, Liz Adams had this great run down the right sideline. She outran a defender, came, and put in a big cross pass over to the goal, and there was a bunch of Meadville girls just pressuring, and they just started kicking at it. It was a kind of a pinball thing in the goal, and it went. And they said they scored it as an own goal. I thought somebody kicked it, but or somebody kicked it directly in, but maybe I was wrong. I couldn't really see with all the people. It was pretty crowded in there. But anyway, Meadville went up 1-0. 5 minutes later, Hickory gets a free kick from the 45-yard line, so 55 yards to the goal, and they bring out their goalie, Molly Pizzo, to take it. Pizzo just cranks it. Meadville's goalie, Riley Olson, she, I guess, kind of loses it in the lights, and the ball's real slick from all the dew, and it was a pretty cold night. And she puts her hands out, the ball hits her hands, goes rolling down, almost like a Harlem Globetrotter thing, goes rolling down her arm, over her shoulder, and behind her and into the goal. So they tied up 5 minutes later, 1-1. But, after something like that, a team can deflate, especially against a team that they've had trouble with throughout the years, like Meadville has with Hickory. But the Meadville girls showed a lot of resilience, and they went right back to work. They continued to press the way they did in the first half, in the second half, and continued to get tries at the goal and continue to push the ball forward. But it ended in a 1-1 tie. 38 seconds later, Meadville has a nice run off the kickoff and then gets it down into Hickory's end. Corner kick. Phoebe Templin kicks it in. Addie Phyllis heads it, gets it past Molly Pizzo and goal. Meadville wins 38 seconds into overtime, 2-1 in OT. They play the championship game tomorrow against Warren, who I believe they split with during the regular season. They lost to them first time they've played them this year, and then got an upset the next time, and that was similar to what they did against Hickory. They lost to Hickory first half of the season, came back and got revenge in the second half of the season, and then beat them in the playoffs. So Meadville's psyched. They seem to be having a really good time, enjoying themselves, playing good soccer, and Coach Miller's excited. He was pretty hyped after that game.
And then Cambridge and Iroquois was the other one.
Yeah. I wasn't at that game. Lisa was at that game. That was an overtime game that ended up 1-0? 1-0 in overtime. Iroquois ended up winning that over Cambridge Springs, ending their season.
And that was two teams that all three of their games were decided by either one goal.
Oh, that's
or
right.
tie.
Yeah.
So that game could have went either way. I bet if they played 10 times, it would be 5 for Iroquois, 5 for Cambridge, and just unfortunately for the Blue Devils, it turned out to be not their day.
So it looks like the championship games then are all set. The Class 1A Girls Soccer Championship is going to be the 30th. What's the 30th?
Tomorrow.
That's Wednesday. Iroquois versus Mercer at Meadville High at 6 p.m. The championship in 2A is going to be Villa Maria versus Mercier's Prep. What did I say? Tomorrow the 1A is going to be Iroquois versus Mercer at 6 p.m. And then the 2A championship is going to be Villa Maria versus Mercier's Prep, 7:30 at Fort LaBeouf. 3A championship, as we mentioned, Warren, which they had a bye in the semifinals, they're going to take on Meadville at 5:30 at Fort LaBeouf. And then the championship in 4A was already decided. McDowell beat Erie 4-0 last week. McDowell will play the District 6 championship, or the District 6 champion in a PIAA sub-regional on Friday. Or, excuse me, Saturday. Boys soccer, all of our teams have been eliminated. Those championships are, Wednesday is the 1A, Iroquois versus Mercer. That's going to be at Meadville at 8 p.m. 2A is going to be Mercier's Prep versus Fairview, and that's going to be on Thursday. 3A is going to be Cathedral Prep versus Slippery Rock. And then the 4A, that again went to McDowell, 8-0 over Erie. That sounds like a good one there. And then McDowell's going to be in a sub-regional on Saturday as well, the boys. Girls volleyball, we had girls volleyball tonight. Where did you go, Jordan?
I was at Meadville for the second half of the doubleheader. It was, why am I blanking? Oh, Union City and Sagertown.
Region 3 champion Union
Sagertown
City.
seems to be the hot team going into this tournament, and they showed it again against the Region 3 champion Union City. They were hitting well, they were passing well. After their first game, they had a little bit of jitters. Coach Justin Johnson said they were a little nervous going in, but then they calmed down and they were a well-oiled machine from there.
Union City took that first game 25-20. Mm-hmm. But then it looks like Sagertown turned it right around in game 2, 25-15. That's a substantial win.
Yeah. No, they jumped out to big leads in each of the 3 sets that they won, and they just rolled right along. And now they'll get to play Cockerton, who is the winner in the first game over Cambridge Springs.
Yeah, it looks like Cambridge Springs put up a pretty good fight in that one. They took the second game to 26-24 and the third to 25-23, but Cockerton still got the sweep there. So the Class 1A championship, which is going to be Saturday, we don't know when, is going to be Cockerton versus Sagertown.
So both teams go to the state tournament, I believe.
And that's not a rematch. It was Cockerton and Cambridge last year, I think. So that's going to – but this is kind of a familiar postseason meeting here, the Cockerton versus Sagertown. Let's see, the 2A semifinals are tomorrow at Meadville High School. It's going to be Fort LaBeouf versus Corey at 6 p.m. And then at 7:30, it's going to be Maplewood taking on Fairview. The 2 winners of that will move to the championship match on Saturday. The Class 3A semifinals are going to be Thursday. We have two local teams in that. They're both at General McLean High School. First one, 6 p.m. is going to be Conneaut Area versus Warren. And then the second one's going to be Harbor Creek versus Meadville. I think those are going to be both going to be very good matches. Meadville plays at 7:30. Boy, that'd be something we could get a cash match District 10 final, wouldn't it?
That would be cool.
That would be that gym would be loud wherever that takes place. Let's see, Class 4A. That's already been decided. McDowell defeated Erie 3-0. Boy, Erie's got to be getting sick of this. Up, they have one team they have to play for every single championship, and McDowell's taking them all. That was kind of lopsided. 25-8, 25-10, 25-13. So congratulations to the Trojans. Let's see. That's pretty much it for high school sports. Yes, we talked about golf last week.
Yep.
About Ryan Ferry taking second in the state. It was a big day for him. College football. Man, I worked all day Saturday. I didn't get to watch any college football. Did anybody?
I didn't get to watch much. There was the big story was
Kansas State.
Kansas State upsetting the Oklahoma Sooners, the number 5 Oklahoma Sooners at the time. That was a 48-41 slugfest there.
Yeah. Kansas State always has their patented running quarterback where they just he gets the shotgun snap and just like runs to the right or runs to the left, and he just rumbles in. He's always like a big strong kid, probably from Kansas.
Yeah.
he just runs over people.
Yeah, Miami, and that was that they scored late to win that. Miami scored on a late touchdown to beat Pitt. Penn State handled Michigan State easily, but Allegheny almost upset DePaul. That was interesting.
Was a weird score.
DePaul scored. I think I had to drive kind of transpired the end of the first quarter into the second quarter. They scored, and then missed the extra point. On the on the ensuing kickoff, Allegheny had to punt, and the punt was the snap was over the punter's head through the end zone. So now it's 8-0, and they ended up losing 8-6.
That's tough, because you wanted to see them follow up on their win over Kenyon, not Kenyon. Was it Kenyon?
Kenyon.
That they beat 2 weeks ago, and they almost did. DePauw's tough. DePauw is now 4-3, so DePauw's. And Allegheny gets who this year? They got a tough one this week too. I can't remember.
This week,
it's not on there.
It's not on there.
Edinburgh got on the winning side of things. They beat Seton Hill 37-10, pretty convincing for Edinburgh.
Yeah. And Seton Hill was on a roll. They'd just beaten Gannon and Mercyhurst. They were cutting a swath through Erie County, and then Edinburgh said, "We had enough of this."
Yeah, Levi Becker's McDowell grad Levi Becker's is QBing for Fighting Scots, who've had some injury troubles there at QB, and he looked like he had a pretty good game. 14-23, 206 yards. And this I'm going to butcher this guy's name, Vincente Arriagada, the kicker for Edinburgh. He 3 field goals in the win.
That's the third time in 4 weeks he's kicked 3 field goals, I believe.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Let's see, Rock beat Clarion 41-6. My alma mater, Clarion, not doing too well against the Slippery Rock, but nobody's doing real well against Slippery Rock.
A good game. He had 7 catches for
7 catches, 92 yards, touchdown for former Connie area standout Henry Litwin. And then, let's see, Cal beat Mercyhurst 27-15. But speaking of Connie area standouts, Hunter Merritt, 4 tackles and an interception for the Mercyhurst defense.
Yep.
So it's nice to see him doing some good stuff for the Lakers. Let's see, Penn State. We mentioned that they beat.
And Journey had a decent game. I think he led them in rushing.
Yeah, led them in rushing. I heard Noah Kane was in the medical tent at some point. Freshman Noah Kane, who got the start in that game, but ended up coming out. Journey had 12 carries, 45 yards. We'll see. We'll see. We mentioned Miami beating Pitt 16-12.
I feel like that Penn State Ohio State game's got to be coming up. We're running out of weeks. It's just like it seems like that's what everything in the Big Ten is heading towards.
Yeah,
and neither team has. I think Michigan provided the only close matchup that either team has played all year, and Michigan, they were kind of out of it for most of that game.
Pitt gave Penn State a game too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
True.
Pitt did. Yeah.
That's
But
true.
so that's what seems like the local colleges. That's where they're at.
Yeah, Penn State moved up to 5th in the national rankings after
I think
that
so,
one.
yeah.
And then where's Ohio State? 2, 3?
I think
3.
3 right now. I think
LSU
LSU is 1, and
How about
Alabama's
that?
2.
Ohio's 4.
Oh, Clemson's still at 3?
Clemson's still 3.
Which they shouldn't be
How
because
about
they
that?
haven't done anything.
They're unbeaten.
They're unbeaten, but they haven't played anybody, and they haven't looked as good as Ohio State has.
It's kind of funny. We've had 3 number 1 teams this year, and not one of them's lost.
Yeah, that is interesting. That none of them has lost their ranking due to losing. They just lose their ranking from not looking impressive.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that about does it for this week. Yeah. Has anybody else got anything they want to get off their chest? No. Matt.
No,
Jordan?
no.
Playoffs are in full swing now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I'm already
a lot of fun for the rest of the week. A lot of big games.
Oh, we did. It was in the Tiger Woods thing. He tied Sam Snead. Gotta bring that up. That was another streak that's actually happening. Another
PGA Tour.
Another streak which we won't know until the end of the year. But Phil Mickelson has a chance to finish in the top 50 in golf rankings for the 26th straight year.
Wow.
He's going to be playing in the HSBC this weekend. If he does well, he should move up high enough that he probably won't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. He's at 50 right now, I think. But I was thinking, you know how hard he's never led the PGA in wins, money. He's never been ranked number 1, but he's always consistency. He's always there. He's always got wins. He's always got money in his pocket.
For more than a quarter of a century, that is pretty astounding.
Both those two players are so impressive for a variety of different reasons. Tiger Woods with his injuries and then being able to, still win multiple tournaments.
And that was a tough
considering
field
that
in
people
Japan,
considering that players are 20 years younger than him, now just as strong as him. Like, he doesn't really have that advantage that he had 20 years ago where he was, the physical specimen, where everybody else is, just like recreational weightlifters and stuff. And but now, like, every other player does the same regiments that he does, and he's still now he's winning more on his skill, or I guess it just leans a little bit more on his skill, and that's getting to 82, still winning tournaments after back fusion and all that stuff. And then Mickelson is ridiculously impressive, just like you said, consistency.
Yeah.
And
he's had to deal with issues too. He's had that rheumatoid arthritis that he's had to adjust to medication for. Yeah, I guess he's lost 20-something pounds. He's just because to carry all that weight at his age probably did not help him last year. We'll find out this week how it helps him, if it doesn't help him this year.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. That'd be nice to see those two guys back at the top of their game again.
I'd love to see one more tournament where they're both at the top and they're head to head. And I think that would be great.
I think they've only played in the same final group like 2 or 3 times in their careers, which is amazing.
They did once up in Rochester, New York. I was there. They were both out of it, but they were paired together. They were like both +3 or something. And they were just like yucking it up in the morning, just playing their 18.
All right. So that'll be it for this week, guys. We appreciate you listening. If you have any comments or questions or things you would like us to talk about or things you would like us to stop talking about, you can reach us at sports@meadvilletribune.com via email. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, it's @Tribune_sports. Happy birthday to Jordan. Happy birthday to Matt in a few months. Me too. Mine's May 28th, so I'll beat you there. But,
Happy birthday to everyone in the upcoming calendar year.
Yes, absolutely. Happy birthday to all of you. You've got another year through. Congratulations. I hope it's a good one. Go get some food. And we will talk to you next week. For Matt, for Jordan, bye.